Hi everyone. Hi Anne.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. Uh
Uh,
for a change, I thought I'd offer up a topic suggestion for this week, which is starting something new. So I'm curious to know, I've got a story or two or three about this, but I'm curious to know what that triggered for you when
okay.
I suggested that.
It did trigger something for me. I have given it absolutely this much thought.
Oh, goody. So we're going to get fresh thoughts from
Well, yeah,
you.
it's fresh meat for this. I don't know, the chumming of the water or something. I don't know. So as you know, but how most of the world would not, is the fact that I've taken this program, and I've now I will achieve my second level at some point this weekend, as soon as I get around to finishing the assessment. Anyways, I've been wanting to offer a service, and that would be my something new. However, starting something new sometimes has a little bit, for me, a little bit of overwhelm, a little bit of where to begin, a little bit of maybe even repeating some old thoughts and patterns in my head on how things maybe haven't worked out in maybe this area of my life. So it's almost kind of beating the drum of, okay, it didn't work last time, why is it going to work this time, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did kind of dip my toe as as like dipping your toe into the water might be aggressive term for what I did, but like maybe is the edge of the nail. I don't know, not a whole toe. Like I just put it out there. So somebody put a post on their Facebook saying, you should put your advertisement in my post or whatever. You never know who's looking and who needs what you have, right? So I put my fingernail into that post. I wanted to start something new. Anyways, I don't know how much it would have been seen outside of the two likes on there. I don't know. Like I don't, but I did something which felt good and scary at the same time. However, I know in my heart of hearts it's not enough. Like I need a whole toe out there so that somebody can see it. Right. So
Foot, maybe. I'm
maybe
thinking a
foot,
foot would be good.
because I've done the whole dive in with both feet or jump off the cliff without the parachute. I've done those, and they've worked to varying degrees. Um, but there's still definitely some apprehension in there.
It is it's an interesting conundrum, isn't it? The when we start something new, do we jump in both feet, all of it off the cliff, just everything, or do we take that more considered approach and test the waters? Like, what has the biggest win?
Well, so there's an expression my colleague and friend uses. It's don't start small, but don't be small.
Yep.
So I do have somebody in the my ecosystem who said that they might be interested in something down this avenue. However, I still feel I need to present some sort of a package that makes sense that I can offer. So I haven't got there yet, but that would be probably my start small but don't be small step.
Nice. Awesome. And yeah, that hesitation that you said, that's just so common, isn't it? I've had, yes, so many examples of
Yeah,
that. So,
not
yeah,
wanting to fail or to look silly or fall on your face or whatever. So there's that mixed into it.
yeah. And, it's like, when do you get over that and actually
Do
move it from
Quick,
starting something
do you get
to,
over that? I'm just gonna
to
lean in
the
here. Listen,
doing?
do we get over that?
Well, in my case, no. I mean, there's a point that I do get over it in that it's no longer starting something new and now it's something that I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's the only time that I go, oh, and now I'm over the starting something new. But the feelings within the starting something new, oh God, they're on repeat.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to get out there and mix it up and to try stuff and to do it. And the more you do it, the more confidence you get.
Yes. And so my experience over the last 5 or 6 weeks has been I've been doing a lot of new things. Oh, and it feels like they've all come in a cluster. It's like every time I turn around, there's again something new, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. And it was feeling like I had 100 new things that were happening, and they felt like they were all happening at once. And oh, that is like people talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Oh, that pushes me out of my comfort zone. I really do like my routine. So I've been taking my deep breaths and I've been going, right, apparently we're doing this now. So I've had, as you well know, a new program that's coming into fruition, one that's appeared, another couple that are kind of on the, not on the back burner, but they're just in development at the minute. So that all feels like something new. And every time I'd go to execute that new program, it felt really clunky. And am I doing it right? And is that, I don't know. And what the, and I wonder if, and oh, anyway, so that's just with the program. So that's a thing. And then there's this, we did recently get our new car, and there's still some new things that are going on with the car.
Want
And
more
it's,
curbs to bump into?
oh no, we're getting that one repaired. No, that one's okay. I haven't made any more dents on the car. Um, but it's in the new of just different settings in the car that we're still getting used to because it's so electronic and so not what I'm used to. And then there's just new ways of existing in the house because we're really getting into doing the final renovations in the bedroom, which means everything needs to be out of the bedroom. I'm telling you, in my house, there is not another spot in my house for all of my dresses and clothes and a few of my husband's clothes as well. All right, he has clothes that hang. Where they're going to hang while we're doing the bedroom cupboard. Like, where does that go? So then that takes up another space, which means that there's more change in the house and we have to do things, do something new again. And then I had, it's not a big health scare, but GP went, Chris, your blood pressure's up a little. I was like, that's all the new things. It's all the new things. He said, well, we're going to have to add in some more new things, aren't we? So I've been going for a walk, and he said, well, great that you're going for this length of walk. How about you double it?
Mm.
Like, oh, okay then. So I decided to do it. And, it's important to make sure that I bring in some of these new things. The beginning of this week, I went for my walk. Now, I leave home around, I don't know, 5:45 in the morning. It's still dark here because we're heading into winter. It's quite cold and not, it's not the most appealing time to be going out and going for a walk because it's cold. Anyway, off I went. I just started walking and I got to the end of the street and I had an opportunity to go the way that I always go,
Mm-hmm.
or
Oh,
I could go a different way.
a new way.
So what did I do? I went a new way. And as I was doing that, it occurred to me, because this is what I love about going for a walk at 5:45 in the morning in the dark, is that you don't have any other stimulation. So you have to pay attention to your thoughts. And I realized that there was mental choices going on.
Mm.
I had to mentally choose that and then stick with it, not turn back around. I had to go, okay, well, now I've committed to that. Okay, I'm walking up this hill rather than walking down that hill. Oh, then the physical kicked in and it had a bit of a resistance. Oh, this is a bit harder. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. Will I get home in time? Oh my God, the self-talk that went on was ridiculous. I was like, nah, that's okay. Keep going, keep going. So I got up to the top of the hill. That was fine. I got a little bit of a reprieve. And then I was like, well, I could just head straight down this way, or I could do a zigzag, right? And then that would add more timing to the walk. And so I just almost let myself automatically do the new zigzag rather than taking the easy option. And that felt quite okay. And I was like, oh, so why was it in the first decision of going a new way I struggled? And yet then I decided really quite easily that I would do the zigzag and extend my walk even more. And it was really quite easy. It was almost like a default. And and then I had a
What do you
chance.
think? What do you think happened that at that like midway point?
Well, reflecting on it, I didn't realize it at the time, but I just thought this walk is such a reveal of what my process was. Um, I had the confidence that I could do it anyway, even though I'd had the physical resistance and the mental resistance, I'd achieved it. So I had something to reflect back on to say, oh, I did that before and I survived. Really? But that was kind of the feel. I survived walking up the hill. Maybe I can add an extra street or two into this walk. And then because I did the zigzag, I actually walked back past the top of my street and the temptation appeared to walk down the street and just go home.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, really? We're going to test that as well? And so I just had to go, you know what? I could, or I just keep putting one foot in front of the other. What if I just did that? And I hadn't fully decided where I was going to go after that, but I just wanted to make sure that I got past the end of my street and kept going. So that revealed to me that there was a lovely little pattern that's obviously in me that says, oh, what if I just give up now?
Easy way out.
What if I just find that? So the little lesson in that, although I think it's a big one, was just keep putting one foot in front of the other. I didn't know the outcome. It didn't feel as easy. I didn't know where I was actually heading, but I just kept going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I eventually went down the streets and did another block and came back home. And I doubled the length of my walk. Now, what was a little different for me in that also is I hadn't planned it. I didn't go, well, if I walk up this street and then go up there and go here, and then I hadn't planned it out. I just listened to the resistance and did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home and went, damn, now I have to apply this same theory to all these other things that I'm starting new. Recognize, I just had to, it was just such a reveal to go, actually, I could apply these same strategies to anything that I start that's something new. But that meant that I had to pay attention to when I am doing something new, I have to be listening a little bit closer
Mm-hmm.
to what I'm telling myself and decide whether that helps support the something new or does it take away from the something new. So that was my reveal of the beginning of this week. And I thought it just highlighted so many common things for me when I start something new. I go, that's exciting. And then I go, what's the easy option? and I forget to persist through.
Yeah, there's an expression. It's I'm gonna screw it up because it's not on it's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't have it right. But it's like the way you show up here, you show up everywhere. It's the way like way we do
Yes.
one thing is the way we do everything, or something like that. So if you catch yourself in a pattern and you always do it that way, you'll often do a similar pattern in a different avenue of your life. And I've experienced a similar thing in a workout scenario where you're working out and it's a 5 round workout, and at round 3 you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I got it in me today," and then you don't do it. Usually I do, but occasionally I will listen to myself and say, no, I'm not, I haven't felt well. Like, I'm going to take it easy. Um, but for the most part, I will put one foot in front of the other and keep going, because you can always go further than you think you can. Um, but then if you're applying this to uh, an outside of the walking realm, so back into the business or the
Doing a program or turning up to be on a board or other things that are new. Yes.
so
Renovating a house.
that involves somebody else. Let's not go there now. That's a little complicated. But if we stuck with like putting out your program or something, like how can you relate this scenario to putting out a new program? Just so other people can see how they can relate the walk to their project.
Okay, so I received the new information, which is basically the same as the GP saying, by the way, you're going to have to do it a little differently. This is a new option for you. So I had a new option to offer, and I got actually a little bit excited about that new option. And then I stalled because I wasn't quite sure, and it's why the other two programs have been stalled as well. There's the pattern. I haven't quite got the plan. I don't quite know where it's going to go. I don't know what the outcomes are. I just got enthusiastic about it. And then for the first program, I found a really easy option. I was like, oh, that's a really cool match. I'll do that. Now, what that also entailed was that I had to design a few extra elements, and I had nobody else to tell me what those design elements would be. I had to trust my own intuition, I had
Hmm.
to trust my own knowledge. I've been doing this work for multiple decades now, really, I'll just be honest. Uh, Probably need to trust that I've got a little bit of know-how. So I had to go, oh, well, what would I do? What what is that? And I don't yet to know all of the outcomes of adding this extra to the program. A bit like I don't know the outcome of doubling my walking time, but I'm just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I'd noticed that what I did is comparing it back to the walk, where I was like, oh, I'm walking past the top end of my street. Will I just go home? That'll be easier. In the program, what I did is I looked to people that I'm very comfortable with, and the people that are very comfortable with the work that I do, and offered a freebie, offered an added extra, because that felt easy, because then I didn't have to add any price to it,
Hmm.
which would be another like, oh, that's new. How what? Oh, that's new. I don't know. And so I've offered it as a added extra value, which feels great. But that's like getting to the top of the street and walking back down the street, right? And back home. That doesn't push my comfort zone. That doesn't push me into new territory and a new place to walk. It just goes, oh well, oh that's okay. They like me anyway, and I'm just going to give them some extra. So that's what I've done. Um, what I
And so
did
that's
do,
what you've
however,
done. You gave it away.
I gave it away for 2 of the programs. The 3rd program, though, I didn't. I actually, so this is the irony. So I still have this pattern. I completely own that this pattern is such a classic in me. However, I've pushed past it on one program. One of the programs is called Accelerate. I've now got a new program called Accelerate Plus.
Mhm.
And I've upped the price. And I've shared what the value is by doing this extra thing, which meant I did the extra walk. Not only did I just keep putting one foot in front of the other, here I've designed it. Here I'm using all my own thought patterns. I'm going to now offer it to someone to say, what do you think? And they just said yes. I said, would you like me to tell you the name of the program? Oh, if you have to. Okay then. And so suddenly the outcome, well, it's in progress because it's a 12-week program. So it's still not completed. If I compare it back to my walk, I'm still on the walk. I still
Yeah.
haven't got back home. I don't know the final outcome yet, but I have actually got somebody on that program. I've got another one that's ready to start it next week. So there's all these elements that are actually coming together. And if I just trusted that the something new was good for me, good for them, good for others, good to do, then it'll be okay. So one of the programs I've moved from starting something new, oh my God, to I'm just doing it now.
I wonder if you need to just kind of redefine what you mean by a plan.
Oh, I like to run a scenario. What will this look like? Will it look like this? Will it look like that? Will it look like this? I have a heap of them.
But I wondered if you left things more open. Like you have a general plan.
Yes.
But if you can start to believe and trust in your intuition and your ability to deliver on what you say you're going to deliver on, as long as you have a rough skeleton outline, you can flesh it out the way that it needs to support the person who you are trying to support
Well, yes,
by meeting
that
them where
makes
they are.
complete logical sense, Ian. Yes, that's very logical.
And you're a big giant but. What doesn't work?
No. Your logic is absolutely right. It's in the belief, right? It's in the belief of the trusting that I don't have to have it all worked out to feel secure or feel safe in it. I swear it's about the security and the safety. It's
I,
like going out on a limb. What will people think? All of that.
so I think we're on a very similar page, if not the same book. Maybe I'm a few chapters behind, but I feel like I'm here. But I think I can give you like the ending. I somehow because my a colleague a colleague of mine, we do work together, and we planned out or tried to plan out as best we could what we thought this group needed. And we had our plan week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And after week 1, we had to modify for week 2. And after week 2, we had to modify for week 3. And week 4, we had to modify for that too. So, with the best of intentions, with all the knowledge that we have, with all of the strength and the tools that we've delivered in the past, nothing, everything worked out really well, but it didn't work out the way that we originally planned. So, if we had kept it a little looser, delivered what we said we were going to deliver, and meet the group where they were, which is what we ended up doing, we would have done a lot less work. And we're still giving them what we said we were going to give them, and they're getting what they need, which is even more important than what we thought they needed at the beginning.
Yes. And if we applied that to the personal, right? So if I decide what it is, all those scenarios and what it is I need out of those scenarios, instead of actually allowing what's really needed to show up. And so yeah, so I say it's really logical. And isn't it interesting how the patterns get in the way of the sensibility of that theory? I have and I find it fascinating that I could do it for one thing, and the other things, like now I need to, I suspect for me what I need to do is be a bit deliberate about taking the belief that I have in the program that I've actually released and stealing a bit of that belief and applying it to the new ones.
Well, knowing that you've done it in the past, you have a blueprint that worked, right? It's just, I think it's just because it's another new thing that it may technically be new in name and in process, but the way that you did it, the way that you were successful creating the previous one, you can bring all of that success with you.
Yes, just steal the belief so that because really I think it comes down to the belief, because the belief really impacts how you think about something and how you emotionally attach to something. So if I believe that this is what's needed, which I do, and you can hear the but, right? It's like I do mostly. uh, and then actually completely embrace that I believe it's needed and literally allow it to be that.
So
So if I take it back to my walk,
it's
I
your next
just need
step.
to walk longer. I
It's your
just
next
need to
step.
walk longer. Yeah.
Another
My
another
next
another
step.
foot in front of the other. And maybe you never get rid of that doubt completely. But the more steps you put in front of one another, the more practice, the more confidence you'll gain, the more confident and competent you'll feel in being able to deliver, and that belief will come with it.
Yeah. And I like that I got my reveals on my walk where there was a little less stimulation around me apart from nature and my own body. When we take away the phone and we take away social media and we take away responsibilities to family or friends or all of those other things that we just say yes to, and we pay attention to ourselves, we start to get a little bit of a reveal of what are the patterns and what do we need to really pay attention to and make a choice in.
I think you're onto something for other people to listen to, is when we're able to, strip away, because some of our situations that we have, they're so complex and there's so many people involved, it's really hard to get down to the basics. But because the walk is a lot simpler, no one's around, it's you and your thoughts, those patterns that show up would be easier to see if you're open to it, because there's less distraction. It's just you and your it reminds me of me going on me golfing, and because there's a lot of metaphors in golf on like getting out of your head and being in the moment and all that stuff, and it's all accurate. um and in a more of a what's supposed to be a fun little game, right? So it doesn't, none of the other real world stresses are around you, but you still feel similar stresses because you've got to perform and you don't want to look dumb, and oh, if I make this shot, I'm gonna have my best score ever, and then you shoot a bunch of balls into the woods, whatever. So yeah, so noticing yourself in everyday situations that maybe are stripped down a little bit to catch those patterns.